Hi again. Chapter 6 of William Schnell's 30 Years a Watchtower Slave, The Judge Visits Germany. The early days of Magdeburg. The Bethel of the Watchtower Society, or its German branch, was situated in Magdeburg, Germany. It had just recently been moved there from Barmen in the west in order to facilitate better and more efficient organization. It was one of the first large-scale moves made by the newly formed second tier of the Watchtower Society of Brooklyn, New York, under the direction of Judge Rutherford. Of course, everything at this time was topsy-turvy in the Magdeburg office. I was assigned sleeping quarters in the attic of the Crystal Palace, which was the name of this well-known building had before it was bought with Watchtower, that is, with American Watchtower dollars. There was no staircases yet, and we had to climb up by use of a ladder and through a window into our sleeping quarters. Some of the brethren there jokingly said that by means of this ladder they were ascending and descending the Watchtower hell, in contrast to Jacob's ladder. Those who had said that soon left the place altogether, as you can well imagine. Who would want to go up and down into a hell by use of a ladder? In the cellar of this Crystal Palace, we were actually printing early in 1925 1 million copies of the book The Harp of God in German, working around the clock 7 days a week. This was war, a campaign, and demanded an all-out war effort. My first job in Bethel was to sit on a stool in front of a revolving disc-shaped platform, which in separate compartments contained the various sections out of which the large harp, that is the Harp of God, was fashioned. It was my job to pick up the several sections in sequence, placing them on top of one another until I had a complete book in my hand. It then went to the public bookbindery, where it was sewed, glued, covered, and pressed. As yet we did everything rather crudely, but we put out an enormous number of fine books. The subhead now is, instead of the princes, the judge. By the spring of 1925, when the world was supposed to come to an end according to the expectations raised by the Watchtower predictions, and the princes were scheduled to appear to us, there appeared in their place Judge Rutherford. He came with a pocket full of American dollars, which the Society had collected in the form of contributions for books, and soon bought us a brand new plot of land and buildings and machines. As soon as he left, there began a year-long expansion program. An amusing incident took place at the time of the judge's visit. The director of our German branch, as had many before him, had grown a large beard patterned after Charles Taze Russell's beard. The judge did not want anything at all to remain which might remind him of Russell, not even the cultivation of a beard. So, sitting at the table for dinner one night within my earshot, the director asked the judge for one more large rotary press. The judge said nothing for a while, merely ate. Then suddenly he looked up, his eyes pinned severely on the director's huge beard, and said, "I will buy you the press if you take that thing off," pointing to the beard. It surely shocked the director's sensibilities, but he meekly heeded the warning and soon shamefacedly, nice adverb, shamefacedly appeared minus his beard. Of course, the judge had given him an out, so the director proudly accompanied the loss of the beard with, "I preferred the rotary press so that I might advance the kingdom." Later events, however, proved that he did not genuinely feel that way. Cleverly thus, in every way, the judge turned the minds of the German Bethel family, as he had that of the Brooklyn Bethel family, from the end of the world to the beginning of the Watchtower Kingdom. Next heading is the Magdeburg Convention. Judge Rutherford's visit was synchronized with a large convention in Magdeburg, which lasted 3 days. The registered number of conventioneers was about 12,000. Actually, 15,000 appeared. Since there were no facilities to take care of so large a crowd in the provincial town of Magdeburg, we had to improvise. We rented large circus tents and set them up in a field outside of Magdeburg, and in this field we installed temporary plumbing. We organized a cafeteria, wherein we served hot meals for a nominal price. This was the first cafeteria ever organized in Watchtower circles, and so successful was it as a moneymaker that the Society has adopted it long since as a regular feature for its conventions and circuit assemblies throughout the world. Shelter for this vast throng was obtained by signing up rooms with householders who were previously solicited by careful canvass. This, by the way, was also a first and is now used everywhere in conjunction with Watchtower conventions and circuit assemblies. I was in charge of the pre-convention transportation arrangements. I was told by our now beardless German director to try to make as much money as possible to defray expenses so that we might show the judge a good financial report. We organized 14 special trains from all parts of Germany and devised a little celluloid tag container with room to insert a white card with the name of the congregation typed into it. These cost us about 3 pfennigs apiece, and I sold them for 50 pfennigs. We made a nice piece of money from this transaction to augment the society's coffers. This convention was the scene of a master execution of a switch. The judge sold 15,000 assembled Bible students of Central Europe, or at least attempted to sell them, the idea of a worldwide witnessing campaign and building program, as well as the idea of keeping a record of their time and reporting it to the society, and of placing books and reporting the number of placements to the society. So paternal in his attitude toward the Bible students had the Watchtower Society become, that as a climax the judge condescendingly used one of Jesus' miracles as a mass token of benevolence. He magnanimously fed each one in the multitude of 15,000 at the last session with 1 hot dog on a bun and some potato salad. The impression that he was a great benefactor, emphasized by this last act of the convention, was so well engraved that for years afterwards, in my travels throughout Germany, of all the many things that happened at that momentous convention, loss of individuality, loss of congregational autonomy, loss of freedom, enforced time reporting, etc., most attendants remembered the 1 free hot dog and potato salad. Clever judge. On the eve of the convention, while having dinner with the judge presiding over the assembled Bethel family, 150 strong, we were addressed by the judge. In eloquent manner, he pictured himself in the Atlanta prison. That is where I first got the impression that he engineered that for effect's sake, pacing up and down in his cell in the picture he presented. Then, said he, I gripped the iron bars in my cell and looked up to heaven and promised the Lord, if thou wilt get me out of here, I will never cease to expose Christendom, and I will cause this gospel of the kingdom to be preached. Again, the background of this vow, he told us of the new visits, against the background of this vow, he told us of the new vista ahead, assuming the role of seer atop the Watchtower Society of the Society. Let me read that one. Assuming the role of seer atop the high watchtower of the society, his eyes took on a faraway look, and he began to tell us that we should not selfishly anticipate going to heaven now, in 1925, when there was so much work to be done on earth. He was letting us down. Our pent-up emotions, tied in with our expectation for the end of the world, were being deflated. But in doing so, he took us high up on the watchtower with him, as high as the mountain of temptation, which overlooked all the kingdoms of the world. And he showed us a great world organization. He pictured vast billions coming out of all the kingdoms of the world, person after person and class after class, slowly learning the kingdom. He envisaged mountainous stacks of books to be published and printed. And next time, the judge's blueprint. We'll see you soon.